Hi, you guys and women. My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I help people navigate through their spiritual awakening. Today, I have it so deeply in my heart. I don't even want to turn on my phone, or leave my room until I get this on video for you guys. It's about how to get over your ex, like once and for all. Never, ever again. I never want anyone to have to repeat these cycles that I've had to learn the hard way. But the beautiful way, right? It's just like the pain of that. But the pain of it, the pain of going back, to toxic relationships or to a relationship where you're not being treated according to your worth. Let's understand that. Let's break that down so that it never has to happen again. We can say this: from this moment on, I choose to change. From this moment on, I choose more love. Let's understand. Let's understand first the principle of do you want that? I learned this from someone else, right? We can use humor. It will help, because I literally woke up with this on my mind, with this saying, right? We can learn from other people. There's a guy named Kurt. I think his last name is Johnson, right? I just know him as Kurt. And he said, do you want one taco, or do you want the whole taco factory? It's like if you can go by a taco stand and just get one taco that only gives you this tiny thing, that lasts for like an hour in your belly, or do you want the whole taco stand, where now you own a taco stand and you're selling tacos the rest of your life because you found a way to sustain yourself. All right, this is like a deep spiritual principle that's showing up in that is the word temperance. Temperance is part of love, right? And that's to delay the immediate gratification for the greater good that's more remote, that's more difficult. One of my philosophy teachers taught it to us this way many years ago. He said, he would give his kids, he would say, do you want this nickel to buy this candy right now? They'd be in front of Toys R Us, or a toy store, and be like, do you want this nickel to buy this like gumball or whatever right now? Or I will save it and I will, I think he would double it or something. And in 3 weeks, we can get you the toy that you've wanted from this place. You know what I mean? And so it's like, for a kid, you only think in that moment. It's hard for you to keep thinking in the future. But it's learning to delay that immediate gratification for something that is going to be way, way more satisfying than a toy, more satisfying than a taco truck, But it's like if someone was living on the streets and not making any money and barely having enough for food, and then they had this opportunity of owning a taco truck and selling and making a living, then that would be like gold to them. It'd be like when Jack climbs the beanstalk and he gets the castle and the goose that lays the golden eggs, and everything beautiful. And so this is like why there's so much truth in fairy stories. There's so much truth in the Holy Scriptures. You don't have to believe that about that, but look from the mystical perspective. If someone comes to this video and is like, what is she talking about? Taco trucks. Do you know what I mean? Like, they'll just write this off and roll their eyes and miss the beautiful truth and the lesson in this. I already know this is going to change my life forever. Like, I could feel my body was warming up from the alchemy, it's like lead that turns into gold. Something gets transmuted in you. The word metanoia, I took Greek. The word metanoia is the word for repentance, which means metamorphosis of your nous, a change of your whole understanding from a lower place to a higher place. I quote Bob Marley, and he says, like, every song that I'm singing is talking to you about a higher consciousness. I'm teaching you a higher way to live, a way that is of love. I'm saying this part, one heart, one love. Let's get together and feel all right. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel all right. All right, so I'm checking if there was something on my teeth. I can't tell. I'm getting like, all right, but so don't worry about what I look like. Just let go. See me as just like a soul shining through, wanting to communicate through this person of, I don't know if I said my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer. But it doesn't matter my titles right now. It doesn't matter anything. If your soul is hearing truth, then hear the truth and resonate with that. Your soul brought you to this place for a reason, because you were sick of it as well. I'm sick of it. There's no way I ever want to go back to anything toxic. And I'm like, it's like, I was quoting Missy Higgins the other day, could you leave me with a scar? So I never go that far. So I never sell out again. All these people say, this is how you're going to be loved. Look like this. Shine your skin up like this, Anyway, it's like, we don't need a scar. We just listen. Get in this very moment, get in the present, take a deep breath, right? If you are soul, and we are soul, all right? We are God consciousness in a body, but we've forgotten so deeply, so hard. We're in deep sleep, and you can wake up, and when you wake up, you already know this truth. I'm not giving you something new. You're remembering a truth that your soul already knows. But if you're here as a soul, and I often say this, like, if you think that you are the avatar Barbie doll or Ken doll or whatever, if you think that you are just this skin and bones in this hair, with this face, with whatever face you have, with these nails, I get these nails because they remind me of our ephemeral nature, our soul nature. And we're not just soul nature. We have physical bodies for a reason. All right, so don't get lost in what I'm saying right now. Just know that your soul will always remind you. It can remind you of what's true. So I'm just thinking of where to start is, when we have certain experiences in childhood, like other people neglecting us, then even just that, there's all sorts of other things that we could have experienced, abuse in childhood. When that happens, then when we're neglected even, we feel like someone's not seeing us. We feel shame then. We feel confusion. We feel a lack of love, all right? So if you know that is, quote, familiar. That's from your family. Look, that's familiar. That's the familiar feeling. When you know shame and you know being ignored and you know not being loved, right? Then what we do is we're still seeking for I want to know what love is. I want you to show me, I want to feel what love is. And I know. So it's like a song speaks to me through the Holy Spirit, or whatever you want to call it, by my intuition, by inspiration, inspires to breathe in. And so I feel like the songs are trying to tap into what this higher love is and explain it to us, right? That's why I use music. But anyway, so there's nothing wrong. There's no shame that you want to know what love is. There's no shame that, the oxytocin gets released in your body and you meet someone and you feel like, I'm going to know love now, like I didn't know in childhood. And then you sell yourself out and don't know them yet, and let them in all these ways you ought not to let them in. They haven't shown themselves trustworthy. And it doesn't mean don't trust anybody, right? I know I love YouTube because it's easy for you to watch this and to go, okay, I'll trust this far and see what she's saying in this video, and then I'm not going to hurt you. I was just noticing that just now, and I'm like, good, but always test what you're hearing from anybody with your soul. You have a compass within your soul. You can test, is this of love or is this trash? Or is there some gold in this or with trash around it? Help me know the highest gold, the highest truth, right? So I'm going to start speaking about Christ, and always test that too. And if you don't know him, then don't worry. Just look at this like you're understanding, what the true dynamics are happening in the story of Cinderella or Snow White, how she fell for the poison apple and why the person was jealous to give her the poison apple. It's like you can understand these deeper truths within the truth that I'm telling you. That's why I like using songs, because they're beyond all people's faith practices, and we can, we don't have to get caught up in stuff like that before, but so you understand, here it is, this call, this wanting to have more love, and then this also feeling of shame that we had before. And so it's like when someone treats us in a way where it's like they're just giving us their scraps, then it's a repetition of our childhood, of the scraps that we got from people that didn't know deeper consciousness and deeper love, and have deeper awareness. But you don't have to go back. You don't have to go to that ever again. That's just what you knew in childhood. Christ said something about, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. But before that, he said, when you follow me, you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. This is where you have to exercise. There's no shortcut about this. Believe me, I've looked. You don't have to believe me, but you have to use your whole mind, will, and heart, your mind, body, spirit, love the Lord your God. That's the first commandment. With all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. All right. This is going to require all of your heart and your mind and your soul and your strength, But how many times do we feel like we're selling our soul out for something so much less than? That's painful for us. That keeps us in agony and keeps us in that heartbreak energy. You are worth so much more than heartbreak energy. We get addicted to that because it gives us a dopamine high to go back to what's familiar. It's just like, oh, the nostalgia, it's like, what if I had nostalgia of someone hitting me? You would not wish that upon me or your best friend or your sister, or your brother. You would never wish that upon them, your own child, So it's like, what you wouldn't wish on any of them, don't ever give that to yourself. Don't ever accept that for yourself. Never again accept that for yourself. What you wouldn't give to your own child that you love, what you wouldn't give to your best friend that you never want to see in pain again. Do not accept that for yourself. Christ said something about put your hand to the plow and don't look back. Those that look back are not worthy of my calling. He's calling us to a higher calling. And look at it, if you're not of this faith or you don't know this, spiritually, whatever, know that you're being called to a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Where's this higher love I keep thinking of? your soul knows that there's a higher love that you are called to, and you are never, ever, ever meant to go back to something less than. Don't beat yourself up if you have gone back before. Today is the day. We are changing, right? Today is the day, Amen means, and it is done, and it is so, right? So we get to enter the amen of, I never want to go back to that. I choose not that. Help me then to develop a strong will and a strong heart and a strong mind. All you ever have to do is come back and be in the present moment. And that's when you're choosing this love. I choose this love in this present moment. I choose the highest love, not the lower one. I choose this worthy calling. Look at it like this. This is another example that came into my soul. I was meditating before this. I have friends. I worked at a rehab a long time ago too, when I was friends with this guy, Elliot Smith. But lately, one of my dear friends was getting sober, and I was so proud of her, and she's open about it, but I won't say her name or anything. But I remembered, I saw her face and her energy and her, trying so hard, like tears after tears after tears to stay on this path. I am committed to this path of sobriety. What does that look like, And I remembered, and this is a path of sobriety from going back to the toxic patterns, right? This is a path that we can commit to. But it's like, so I remember working at this rehab years and years and years ago, and some of them were saying, I've never, been intimate with my spouse, with my partner without being drunk, and it was like, it was like so strange to look at, because that wasn't something that I had not been sober in. And I see that this is my area to surrender completely to God, so don't be judgmental of where other people haven't been sober, because this is our addiction, and you don't have to be ruled by this addiction. You're not a victim just because you call it that. And I'm not, okay, but understand, that when you offer yourself less, you're offering yourself less love. And so this mystery, right? This person would have to put down the drink and be like, I'm going to enter into this mystery. Let's say her spouse got sober too, and let's say it's like they're both like, wow, what is this going to be? Like, what is us knowing each other not on this substance that we were so afraid to feel life and experience life, because we were afraid. See, there's a courage here that's called from you, and a fear before, because it's a fear of like, what if this person doesn't like me? I'd rather be intoxicated and numb myself than risk being vulnerable and seeing this person truly reject me, or truly love me and honor and welcome me, And so it's like the mystery that this, my friend, let's say, has to enter into by putting that drink down, a guy friend or a woman friend, by putting that drink down and going, what is life going to be like when I'm sober, when I'm not depending on this, when, like, I'll enter into that mystery. You guys can look this up yourself. I have this picture in my room, but I don't want to leave this place right now. I want to stay in this flow with you guys and get this out, I don't want anything to come in between us. I didn't want to turn on my phone. I didn't want text messages. I didn't want alarms. I just want to make this and put it out, because I want you to have this. But I have a picture in my room called The Storm, and it's this man holding this canopy over this woman, and the storm is about to come, and he's looking at her with loving eyes. And Christ showed me one time when I was meditating, he was like, that's me. That's how I want to care for you. Recognize me. Recognize. Let me heal your mind. Let me recalibrate your brain to truth. I heard from a wise man that I was going to for counsel, that very searches after good in his life and practices it as best he can. I know over years I've known him. I had to build up a long trust to get to know him, but he could still fall. But I know what he said because he knows about God. And he said, Cheryl, what I found is that for every way someone has been abused in childhood or misused or mistreated or neglected or, left, it's like that feeling of messages unread. Like I have a lot of videos about being ghosted. It's that same ghosted experience from childhood. It's that feeling, He said to everyone that experienced that in childhood, I see it's like this ribbon, I'm putting it in my own words, but this grace that is allowed then to come to them, and it's not an excuse for anyone ever to abuse us or abuse anyone else or you to hurt other people, right? Never, right? It's not to take advantage of this principle, but it's to understand you have access to gold. You have access to grace. There's a love that is greater. That verse, it's like greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. There's a love that is greater than the pain. So I have to keep trusting and walking in faith that as I go into this unknown of more love, and no, I am not taking this taco right now because I trust that there's a taco truck for me. I trust, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, the way of perfect love, not the way that the church teaches you, because the church is broken. The church will try to teach you. Some churches will try to teach you what this love is, and I'm not putting those down. It's just know the way of love, right? Is seek first this reign. What is a kingdom? A kingdom is this reigning, a reign of perfect love. This being king and queen in your life instead of something lesser. If a taco is king in my life instead of this something greater, then I'm only going to have something for my belly in the moment. I'm only going to have, like, my heart was ripped apart the other day. Like, I'll just be completely honest here, is like, I looked at someone that I cared about, like some ex of mine. I looked at what he was looking at, because there's ways you can do this and I do not recommend it. And it wasn't anything that wasn't like, it's completely illegal and stuff. You can just look, and you're like, oh, and I just wanted to throw up. I wanted to throw up. And this isn't judging him, because what am I looking at? If he's looking at vomit and I'm looking at him looking at vomit, what am I looking back? There's a proverb that says, as a dog returns to its vomit and tries to eat up its own vomit, so a fool returns to his folly. That was like enough. When you look at the prodigal son, you look at the story, there's so much wisdom. Okay, here's another song that goes, my nose is running from crying, from the tears in my eyes. It goes, Steel Pulse, right? It goes, mystical powers to you unfold. Seek ye the half that has never been told. Get behind me, Satan. This is really about that, and it's there are so many mystical truths, so much rich understanding in what Christ was revealing to us, and what love reveals to us, and what your own soul has this knowing. I'm only getting this because I choose to be quiet every day for an hour, even though it like tortures me sometimes, because I'm like, what am I getting this time? Or why? There's so many other things that are calling you. Choose to have a higher commitment to something like silence, give yourself 15 minutes every day to go. I'm not going to go off to my thoughts. I'm going to just let my thoughts be there and not invest in them. experience yourself as the observer, and then you learn more and more and more that you are the observer. This is the only way I have this wisdom to give to you, is because I did commit to doing that. For years I've been doing that now, and I build that silence up in me. But God can use everything to transmute you into gold, into pure gold, so that you can be of service, of love, of bringing other people, helping other people see deeper love in their life. So I'll just tell you, like, I looked back and I was horrified. But it's like, what if God's looking at me, divine love? Because sometimes people have this limited idea when you just say the word God, but think of this radiating sun, like divine love looking down at me and going, girl, look up at me, look up. I have so much love for you, and you're looking back at vomit while that person's looking back at vomit. Or you're looking back like the prodigal son who leaves and goes, I'm going to spend my inheritance, I'm going to go, and party it up. And they party it up, right? And have friends while they have the money, and then the friends disappear as soon as they use all that money, and burn through it, because that's what happens when you burn through it. And then he's feeding the pigs, and you're rolling around in the mud with the pigs, and you're like, I don't like this. This does not feel good. This feels like the shame I experienced somehow in my forgetfulness when my parents were in forgetfulness. My earthly parents were in forgetfulness, and I'm craving the pig's food. And then I'm like, I think that divine love has something higher for me. You know what? Even the servants, even the people that go, I'm just going to serve in that house, they are eating more than what I'm being offered right now with this pig food, that vomit, And it's like, so I'm not putting that person down. I was doing the same thing by looking back when I'm being offered so much more love, and all of us are, right? At this moment, that person could turn around, and that person could turn around, and I can turn around, and you can turn around. The word metanoia, again, is metamorphosis of your nous. Get a new mind. You can get a new mind and turn the other direction and go the direction back towards love. Let go of anything that gets in your way of this highest love path. Like, how many more videos do we want to watch about never going back to our ex? It's not the ex, it's the pattern. It's the pattern of shame that they've bought into, that we bought into, that you don't have to live anymore. None of us have to live that anymore, right? But it's like, what does my friend have to do to stop drinking? She has to choose in this moment each day not to go back to find her high from that, to the temporary high, the lie, the illusion that thing was offering her, I hear that song, by Huey Lewis in the news, the people that sing, that's the power of love. He also sang, I want a new drug, it's a brand new fix, but I don't know how it goes, but it was like, it's something like people will run from one to the other. And it's like, no, I want the real thing. I want not in another person, but in aligning and living in my own soul and knowing that soul truth by living it. You activate it, right? I was getting so many visions and intuitions and knowing about like mystical powers, mystical truth will unfold to you as you quiet your mind, because I was seeing, okay, is I love Johannes John. John is like the mystic follower of Christ, and so he shows the mystic path, and that's the one I resonate with, because I want like vibrate like this, like an alive faith. I don't want one that's just in a box, but I'm not putting down, the boxes are there, we can stand on those boxes as well to get to higher places, but they'll only take you so far until you yield yourself to higher love, and you know this, and you're aligned in your heart and your will and your mind and your strength, and you surrender all of that to this divine love, not to something lesser, not to the vomit. You surrender it to something higher, and you choose to go on this path, and you choose, all right, God, give me the strength and the grace. Let me trust that there's enough grace that will take me out of that old shame. That when the prodigal, right, when the son, remembered, wait, I am the son and the daughter, or the daughter of the king. I am the daughter of the king. I'm going back to that kingdom. I hope that my divine love will receive me again. And you find that divine love, the father, the mother, was on the road looking and just saw the son, saw the daughter walking back, and they ran, they picked up everything and ran and welcomed her and welcomed him and said, like, of course, no, you're not going to just be a servant in this house. Let me put this robe on you. You're restored. Let me put this ring. That's the ring of eternity. Let me have a party. I'm rejoicing that you're choosing love. If someone has to tell it to me in the form of a taco in a taco truck, and I wake up going, I want the taco truck. Then fine, let these mystical truths be told in the silliest of things, I see the tortoise and the hare, The turtle goes the slow way, and the hare, the rabbit keeps taking all the shortcuts and tries to win the race that way. But they get caught up in all these snags and stuff, and it's like the one that wins is really the slow one, the turtle, Don't be slow in apologizing to people you've hurt. But mean it in your actions. Mean it in your actions. I don't know why that part's coming to me, but... And we don't have to be perfect. Does my friend have to be perfect? No, in that moment she chose, no, what is the first step in AA? It's like, I came to believe a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity, It's like, I'm trusting in this grace to help me in this moment. I choose to be in this present moment, and I choose to practice being present and practice higher love and practice, I'm going to go into the mystery. And now what happens is, in childhood, if we've experienced pain before, then we think the unknown is just going to bring us more pain. So I understand you're afraid of the unknown because you think the unknown will bring you more pain. But there's a place of going, how and when am I going to trust? It's like, if there is this person, Christ, that showed us this with his whole life and all of his actions, then how do I know that? You don't. Anyway, he says, in John 17, he says, and I'm not preaching, this is like, how do I get over my ex? So let's enter into this in a mystical way. He says, I'm just seeing if there's another way, a more simple way for me to teach it to you. The glory which thou givest me, I have given them, that they may be one as we are one. I in them and thou in me, that they may be made perfect in this oneness. Okay, so it's like, if we came from, if we look like we're all separate beings, I say this, and then we find out we came from the one, then it's like if we're all part of the sun, walking in the sun. I think that's how it goes. If we all feel like we're part of that, and then we separate and we're out in our oneness, our separateness, we feel like we're these separate things, then it's like, how can we know this love, this deeper love again? How can we come to this new understanding except by daring to go back, daring to walk back towards that love, daring to go, yeah, I'm sick of that pig food and rolling around in the mud and all those shortcuts and all those things that I understand that man, thinks that those things are going to make him feel rich and important or just a high, What is it for me to look back to my ex or something and feel like, oh, that love that I thought we felt at one time, I'd rather go back and think that I could just remember that memory by looking back at that person, that they're looking for the same high somewhere else, but the high is not backwards. The high is aligning with love. The high is I choose to put that down and walk into this unknown of that's what active faith is. So when Christ came back, right, when he resurrected from the dead, after he conquered death, I was seeing Christ on the cross in my mind's eye this morning. How did he know that he was really going to fulfill everything he was called to do until he was on that cross and saying, it is finished, I have completed, for whatever reason he was called to die in that way? That's a mystery for us to understand and enter into. But when he says, take up your cross every day and follow me, it's go into this unknown. Do you know Christ himself as a person didn't know experientially what it was like to die and then to raise back again? He didn't know that until he did that, right? And so someone showed us this. We don't know what it's like to let go of running to the highs until we choose to let go of running to the highs. Yes, I've had to let go of a lot of highs to get to where I am, and I've cried a lot of tears because every time I went into the quietness, to the stillness, I just was like, what if this vulnerable person in me is going to be rejected? What if I go into this place where I don't know myself that place yet, because I was in that innocence, in my essence as a child, and she got rejected. And so it feels like we're returning back to that essence. And we feel like, what if we're going to be rejected again if we go to that place? We have to be macho and, have this ego and run after money and run after, this beautiful look and have this look like all these girls have, I was looking... I didn't even choose this guy. I went back on this dating app and believe me, it looks like it'll only be a one-day return to that. And then I was like, yeah, that's not where I'm going to find. But someone on it yesterday, it was so refreshing. He said, my goal and aim in life right now, it's the highest aspiration. He's like, to get rid of the Instagram models. And he didn't mean get rid. He just so that they would disappear from this world, and it was so refreshing to hear a guy say that. This is where the grace comes into your life in these beautiful, funny ways, this video just came to you for a reason. This is a gift of grace coming to you. I'm speaking words of love and of honesty and of truth to you so that you know that you're not alone, And so it's like, if you think that you have to be one of those, that you're gonna get loved if you're one of those, no. Jesus said, it's like, you must be like a child. Everyone must be like a child to enter the kingdom of heaven. Die every day and follow me. So it's like having the courage to go to these places again. It's taken so much courage, and you feel so alone, but you're not alone. You're not alone. Like, you already know, I'm on this courageous adventure with you, and I fall down. And someone said the other day, there's a verse, and I didn't look it up yet, but it was like, though the righteous fall 7 times, God will help them to get back up again. It's righteous is not, I'm righteous because I go to church and I blah, 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 blah. Right wayness. That's how I keep seeing it. That's how it's being revealed to me. It might be revealed to you in a deeper way than that. But it's like the right way is the way of love, the way of perfect love, aligned with perfect love. It's like when the son said, I don't want to roll around in the pig's mud anymore. I want to go back into alignment, but by my own choice, alignment back with love. So I wear this, and because I was taught, that it was a symbol before King David took it as a symbol, It's like there's one arrow coming down and there's one arrow going up. And there's a circle around it, right? And the one arrow coming down is we come here because we want to experience this for some reason. We're like the spark of God, made out of the image of God. And we want to experience this world or go into this forgetfulness. And then we learn our lessons. And some people say you don't have to learn lessons, but we see, I want love. I was always love. I want to return to who I am in my soul essence, that this personality formed around me, and I want to go back to, so I take this arrow back. And then how I do that is by the cross, by dying to myself every day, by dying to this lower nature that got wrapped around me like a bunch of silly clothes. That's not me, You think that I'm going to know my worth and my love and that I'm true soul gold by my clothes. My clothes, you can wear these beautiful clothes, and the beautiful clothes could be like a picture of the beauty, but they're not the beauty itself. The beauty is knowing yourself as your soul self, right? And I was like, a safe relationship is one where I know I'm following the highest love and I choose to let that live in me. And I choose to be that. And then it's like, I'm going to be the safest person and the most loving person to other people, because I'm not teaching them how to sell out more and more. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, and I fall down, but so it's like, check, always check, Use discernment with people. And I know our discernment gets thrown off in childhood but all of it can be healed. We have to keep trusting that all of it can be healed. Like, yield to highest love, choose highest love, and then you'll recognize it. This is why in this moment, I'm like, if I choose love now and I keep choosing that, then I'll be able to recognize it more and more in my life, and I won't be attracted to anything less than that, because I won't be looking back. I keep looking forward. All right, that's so much. There's so much more I could say that was given to me, but I want to just stop with this for now. All right, I wish you so much love. Thanks for following, listening to all this, and loving.